see. That's what we shake hands with. That's what gives you a hug. But listen, we have outwitted that. We've gone out and beyond that. That definition of our humanness must come to a lower level. And we begin to exist at the level where as I am not, so are they not of this world. So definitions, effects, and issues that come to us out of this world that impact us so much, so very much, until we are so devastated. For example, news about death. And what is the effect upon us? Who is it that has died? How do you take it? What is dead to you? How do you understand death in the light of all this? And Jesus, being who we know he was not affected by those things. Sometimes the others were affected, and you tell them, no. I'm talking about Lazarus being dead. Then they are shocked. Oh my goodness. Then let's go to Bethsaida. And as they go there, then he says, okay, 4 days he was told he's sick, he doesn't come, then he comes. When he comes at the end of the day, he says, Lazarus, come out. And in fact, he just said Lazarus is asleep. So what kind of human is this? What kind of God Christ is he? Where people dead, he calls them sleeping. And let's go and wake him up. Then the disciple tells Jesus, man, we don't have to waste all that resource, time, energy, walk all over all that place and go wake a man from sleep. He will get over it and get out of bed. Then he decides to tell them the truth. Actually, Lazarus is dead. Literally, when he arrives there, some people even confused. They say, look at the way he loved him. He even wants to go to mourn at the grave. They don't know him, that he is not of the world. They don't have an understanding of him. They think he's so emotional that he has to literally go to a grave. They say, don't go, it's stinking. The place is reeking with a lot of bad smells. The man is already decomposing. Don't go. He still went. They arrived there, and then called out. When the man was restored, do that divine intervention, then he said, remove the stone, remove the clothes on him, let him walk, let him live again. And there is that dimension where, if you really literally left that other side and came here, there are people here to roll out a stone, you get out of the deadness and the confinement from among the dead. It's the same way. When I got born again, I used to be a smoker by excellence. Drunkenness was at the end of the extreme. Because I had no money, I was not employed by then, I had no work. Therefore, the only thing that could sustain my habit was the low-level drinks, the chana. In Kenya, we call it chana. And then we hit chana hard. And they hit us hard, became addicts. So when we come to things like beer, what is beer? Beer is not for men, it's for boys. Want something hard, something tough, something men enjoy to take, something that can affect you probably. When we say he can and he does take us out of things, it is true. Real addiction. I got saved with the cigarettes in my pocket. Alone on a road. Now the next thing is smoke those, finish, and never do it again. I'm alone, remember I'm on the road, going home after the conviction of the Holy Spirit. And I never did. God is so gracious, so powerful, that he could rub off something like 4 or 5 solid years of abuse of those things and remove them in one moment. How do you do that? It's just this one. Protect them from the power of that evil one. Let's try and go. Sanctify them by the truth. Your word is truth. Now he's telling God something. They are already out of the world, but they still need another level of upgrade. You see, he has already taken them out of something, and they are protected, and they are not of the world, but they still need something. That's why I call it process to what? To sanctity. It's a process. Which area you are meeting? And therefore you are half-baked, half-made. You are weak and weakling. Your walk with God is wobbly. It's not steady. Okay, the way the Apostle Paul will say, walk circumspectly. In other words, you have the full range of view of all the things that would attack you. There's nothing you're omitting and ignoring. You are in full view and in full command of the faculties that organize your life. That's what Paul would say. So, sanctify, Father, sanctify them by the truth. Your word is, let's keep going because of time. John verse 18, he says, as you sent me into this world. So what kind of gathering is this? Of sent people. So if we say we are apostolic people because we were sent, how are we sent? As you sent me. As manner and intent. The manner you sent me. All power of heaven has been given to me. All power of heaven and earth has been given to me. Go ye therefore. Given to me, Jesus. Go ye therefore, my disciples. So how did he send him? He sent him with all power. That's why he could turn water to wine. That's why he could talk to a tree and the tree dries up. That's why he could talk to water, it turns to wine. That's why he could tell a cripple, your faith has healed you. Or blind Bartimaeus, receive your sight. And things happen just on the saying. It triggers some other processes that restore this particular person to wholeness. So if then he says, as you, Father, sent me Jesus, where? Into the world, I have sent them. So who are you? We are still defining our gatheredness. What quality of gathering are we? The gathering minor of sent people. And the people who understand it is in the same way. So what kind of faith are we supposed to generate in our spirits when we know he sent us like he was himself sent into that world where he's saying protected against everyone. So he didn't ask that we have no challenges, but he said there's protection. Is that not true? I can tell you for a fact, just this week, ending week, on Tuesday, in the same meeting in Trinidad, we had one of our key brothers, key leaders of the nation of Belize in Central America, somewhere Mexico area, Belize. He's a leader living in Trinidad, taking flights to go and oversee churches in Belize. His name is Christopher Barclay. And Christopher Barclay was afflicted by a cancer in the groin area, his male reproductive system. So heavily infested with cancer. When he was diagnosed, he worked with a giant company as a senior engineer with that company back in Trinidad. And they have a huge medical cover for such maladies or any kind of medical care one would need. But then the amount of money he needed was not able to be covered by that particular medical insurance, because there's only one place, I'm told there's only one place here in the US where you can get that kind of service where they use very specialized mechanisms of removing cancerous tissues from within the body without as much physical, surgical operation procedures. I know now you would be home with that. There is a way. And as I talked to you, the other week, the 12th of June, he went in for the operation, 12th or 13th. As this week, Tuesday, he appeared in our global meeting. Barely 1 week. 4 hours after the surgery, he was eating and walking. 4 hours. How much did it cost? $6 million US.